I mean, okay. How did I mean? This is the fun time because we're all here and we haven't been together at all this run.
No.
Obviously, this isn't ideal. This is not how we want to do this event. But list one thing that you really enjoyed, that surprised you about the event that you really enjoyed. Something positive about what we've done, other than just the total, obviously. Something like that happened. Beach. Other than Belopa.
Oh, God.
Beach, what do you got?
Like an aspect of the shift, or just something?
Just something. Anything that sort of surprised you about. I swear to God, I will turn this car around.
What surprised me the most, because I'll get this one before anybody else. What surprised me the most is how doable Desert Bus is with a bunch of people in Windows. That it opens up so many more different things for people to do in so many more different places. Yep. Stuff that we have not been able to do in the past by being a live show with a whole bunch of people in one spot. What we abandoned in being able to touch and hold and interact and see in a live stage, we have gained back in other ways, in terms of video goofs, in terms of audio goofs, in terms of the kind of like dropping out and coming back in and doing all that kind of stuff. I feel like we even said on Zeta at one point, we were like, man, if we get to all be in the same room again, maybe Zeta should just decide to keep doing their stuff from home.
You hear that, Johnny? This is every year now.
No, please.
Yeah, no, it was really great. Like, I don't think, like, Kathleen and Carrie and I ended up doing like a radio call-in show that I don't think would have worked at all if we had been live. Like, that only worked because we were doing it this way.
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss quiet time.
All right, I'm gonna go around clockwise from Beach here. Serge, hit me up.
I actually really like where we landed on for Coffee Pong this year.
Minecraft Pong.
Yeah, I mean, if we had done the same thing as every year, that would have been great. That would have been a success. 1 second. But not being able in the same room and having to brainstorm and doing digital Pong and Minecraft Pong and really leaning on some of these other things that we knew we could pull off, I thought was really fun and really clever. And kind of leaning on Beach, being able to move into a medium that we would never touch in an in-person event, I thought gave this year a very, very special twist, which was pretty cool.
Sweet. Matt?
So you're gonna say this is because of Belopa, but it's not. I actually thought that the choose your own adventure thing was an inspired idea. Initially it sounded like, oh, okay, it'll be sort of like the, keep talking or everybody Legos thing from Zeta. But it turned into something so much more. And part of that is because it was like we were able to riff on it with like playing with our OBS and doing changes to our overlays and things like that. But it was so much fun. The what it became was so much more than what it sounded like on paper. And credit to Ben for coming with the book and the idea.
We're lucky it wasn't a better book.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey,
are we not that lucky?
But yeah, it was so much fun. I thought it was a delight.
Sweet. Johnny,
is my mic working?
Yeah.
Cool. Mm-hmm. There was lots of really fun things that people were able to pull off that I really liked. But one of the things on the kind of the backside of things that I didn't actually. My team's trolling me right now. That's not a thing that I was looking forward to. Hold on a second. Fine. Is that one of the things that we had not done or really given much thought to before was how much time the team could spend building and coming up with things in between shifts that would never be really possible in a real run. Like, one of the big things that we've never been able to do in a real show is test things on our OBS setup. Like you just can't throw weird stuff at the computer while the show is going on, right? But if you have 4 different setups, people can test things before and after and make sure they work before they go in. And it doesn't mean that it's going to be perfect, but it gives you that much more flexibility and freedom to do stuff. And so I was able to get up at a stupid hour and hang out with Map every late at night and set up a whole bunch of stuff for these dumb game shows that James wanted to do. And it was cool. Like we would never be able to do that. We would have had to have figured it out on air normally. And that was really cool. It was something that we would not normally be able to do with a normal Desert Bus. And if we go back to a normal Desert Bus next year, I would want to try and come up with a way that we could have more than one system so we could switch between it. So we could still do something like that, even if we're all in the same room and do a dual setup. I think it would be way better.
Erica?
I just had so much fun on entertainment this year. It was an absolute delight. And I also found one of the things I noticed is that because we were sort of forced to stick to our 6-hour shift, in other years, I'd come in early, see the end of the first shift, leave, stick around for a couple hours of the next shift. I was a lot more tired, and when I was coming off shift today, it's like, I'm fine. This was like a work day. I can just go home. I'm a little tired, but not exhausted. So I felt like this was probably like the least draining Desert Bus, for me at least.
Cool.
You were wonderful on Alpha Flight, and we were very happy to have you, Erica. Thank you.
Thank you.
So for me, I really liked. Obviously, we've sort of defined our shifts over the last couple years. The 4 shifts have become a big part of Desert Bus. And while I do think there was a little bit of very an isolated aspect to this year, which was sort of unavoidable, what I did really enjoy is I think it pushed us to be able to do things that we wouldn't normally be able to do, which I'm hoping will translate into an even better show and a better dynamic moving forward, ideally when we can get back into the same room with each other. And an entirely selfish reason, I'm really excited that there's no strike tomorrow. Man, that's great.
I mean, all of the offices at...
Did you think we
tear down a bunch of servers?
James, did you think we unionized while you weren't paying attention? Like, what kind of strike are you talking about?
I don't gotta do anything.
Like, all 3 offices at the moon base. I don't know what happened.
Whoa.
Like, okay. So I haven't been at the moon base for like a week and a half.
Yeah.
But from what I have heard, in terms of how the systems seem to be working, things have been changed.
I think Studio A is going to be easy. Studio B will take like an hour or 2. Studio C, I mean, Beej was in there, so probably like 3 or 4 hours. But that's nothing compared to a normal strike. So I feel good. I feel good. Graham, what do you got?
So 2 things really leap out. When we talked about what we were going to do for the beginning of Alpha Flight, and we came up with, or Night Watch, from Alpha Flight to Night Watch, and we came up with the it's the Night Watch news at 6. Then that sort of led into like, and then we could do like this. We could start each thing with an improv bit. Originally, it was supposed to be an improv bit where we would sort of riff back and forth. And feel free to go back and see how completely unprepared I am on the first couple nights, and then just seeing how much extraneous stuff Ian and Ben and Matt put into that. Then I was like, I gotta actually write these things ahead of time. Because this is in Microcosm. This is encapsulated by. I made a comment, sort of like, now of course we're all wearing suits in the video that we recorded for the intro, but we're not going to wear those things when we actually go live, right? And Jordan and Matt responded to that with a thumbs up.
Did I respond to that with a thumbs up?
I thought
Matt wore a suit every day.
Maybe it was.
I wore a
maybe
sword
it was just
every day.
Jordan.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe it was just Jordan. And so, right. It was just Jordan. So it was just Jordan. And I was like, okay, I just assumed the others have seen this. So the first night starts off and there's me in a t-shirt and then Jordan in a t-shirt and the other three dressed up. And I was like, oh, I look so bad at this now. So yeah, what Night Watch News at 6 became, I think, was great. And also, yourphotos.desertbus.org. Thanks you for letting us into your homes to show us how you're enjoying Desert Bus. It was really cool and wonderful. And all your pets are great.
Yeah.
That was really delightful.
All right, Kathleen. Joe likes pets.
I enjoyed seeing my friends this year and doing Desert Bus, and I really liked that all of the stuff that we did for the Alpha Flight intros and outros are very much a group effort. I want to thank Erica for being a wonderful writing partner for all of those. They turned out great.
They were amazing.
And Brett for gathering the footage on very short notice, and Matt Griffiths for editing them. And they turned out very well, and it was very nice. And everybody who contributed their like captions to the intro video.
Jacob narrating
them. Thank you. But yeah, and what I enjoyed the most this year is we've had sort of like guests who we always wish could come in, but they couldn't come in just because of like distance or schedules and stuff like that. Like it's never worked out that we've been able to get Mikey, and having Laser was amazing this year, and Allison calling up from Seattle, even though she's so busy and would probably never be able to make the time come in a normal year. And we got to hang out and do improv with her, and it was great. And just there's a lot of drawbacks to having an all digital system, but having the technology to bring those people into the studio so flawlessly, and have our hardworking techs getting those people on and like doing like sometimes on the air troubleshooting with them was so incredible. And I'm just blown away by how hard the broadcast team worked this year to make that all come together.
Awesome. Andrew.
For me, on a similar note to one of the ones that Graham mentioned, I want to say one of the things that I really loved was all of the submissions that we got via the DB2me hashtag over on Twitter. That was an idea that came out of one of the last comms meetings before the start of the run that I believe originated with Julie from Dawnguard. And it's something we get bits and pieces of the impact that this has on folks, but I don't recall a time where we've specifically said, hey, send us your stories, send us your videos, send it here and tell us what this event specifically means to you. And it was just wonderful to see what everybody shared with us. I've still only managed to make it through a very small amount. So at some point after the run, I intend to basically cry my way through that entire hashtag from start to finish. So that's how I'm going to wind down.
Awesome.
I legitimately love that and the Your Photos, and I would love to see those continue.
Yeah. The Your Photos was a call-in suggestion for this year. It was really good. It was perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was really good. Ashton.
Well, going near the end has screwed me over once again because I had 4 things and somebody covered it in some form. So I'm just going to cover those real quick.
Yeah, that's fine.
Coffee Pong building the fields in Minecraft was a ton of fun, and let us do some really cool goofs and surprises in there. That was great. The Dawnguard intros that we green screened, and a bunch of people put in submissions for that. That was there's some beautiful ones in there. I have Mikey and Laser as our guests, but really all of the guests that we wouldn't normally be able to get, like Kathleen was saying, people that just wouldn't be able to make the trip, and we could have them as full shift guests this year. It was incredible. And the OBS or like overlay essentially goofs people were doing, and you could see everybody's different takes on them, and everybody put their own personality on their own goofs that they were doing. It was really cool to see.
Ian.
Boy, yeah, coming at the end, it's kind of difficult. Everyone's I've got the Night Watch news was one of my favorite things that we've done in years, and honestly, Belopa was one of my favorite things I've been involved with because of just how organic it actually was. But with everything taken, I'm just going to give it the joke answer. I think this is the year that I fell out of love with the kazoo and in love with the slide whistle.
When you're at home, you have access to all of your weird instruments.
Yeah,
I didn't even bust them all out.
Yeah, we only very briefly saw the didgeridoo shouldn't.
Well, next year you'll get the chamois chant.
Oh god. All right, Paul, what do you got?
On the we were talking about the Belopa thing. I love that also took over at least one day of Dawn Guard, but in this weird like cargo cult way. Like, all we knew about it was like we hadn't actually watched any of the stuff about it. All we had was the picture.
Yeah.
And the name Belopa. And so they made it in Minecraft. And then that started being like this own like meme, and people in chat kept trying to correct us, but it's like, no, that's not Belopa. We're like, this is all we know. Yeah, we've invented this. Not only was it organically created, but we actually. This is how like a schism is created live.
My favorite part of that was that then the next day, anybody who'd been introduced to it via Dawn Guard was interacting with us, like this bizarre game of telephone had happened over the course of 24 hours.
That happened to Erica and me. I was like, I think Belopa's clearly these fish that keep coming up, and people post the pictures of the fish and they say Belopa.
Amazing. Quick shout out.
We just hard ignored that.
Yeah. Thank you for Avi Miller for building that Minecraft Belopa for us.
Yeah, we reached out to them, and they're like, "Wait, I can do this in creative? Oh yeah, this is gonna be easy." You're like, "Wait, what? How?"
And of course, having the ability to do all my the things that I have set up in my overlay anyway, like my slapping thing, which was off the screen. But anyway, I can do these like I can do on the Loading Ready Run streams.
Nice.
It was like, having Mikey and Laser, like it's so different, when you have somebody who is there for like a call-in, and you go like, hey, how's it going? Here's some questions from the chat. It's fun to talk to them like that, but when they're actually there for like a whole 6-hour shift and two things, you actually get to like sort of play around with them, come up with new bits, and have them on game shows, and Laser did wonderful songs with just coming up with songs off the top of their head, and also doing stuff with Aubrey, and that was totally amazing. And Mikey's wonderful stories, and all like that aspect of being able to bring people in who might only be able to be like a short call-in normally was definitely something that I really enjoyed, and I felt it was kind of neat because it gave a kind of a different. It's like when Mikey was here, we were talking a lot about, we talked about movies and about stuff we liked and about cool bits of media and things. And when Laser was here, we were doing a lot of songs and stuff like this. It's really kind of gave a different feel to the days, even though it was still Dawn Guard. And I thought that was a really nice addition to the whole process.
That was awesome. It was a slightly different experience. It was great to having Tabby on Night Watch, but just the way that Night Watch runs, it was a lot less like, okay, well, Ian's going to do this, and then Ben's going to do this, and then Tabby, is there anything you'd like to do? It was more like, look, no one knows what's going to happen. Strap in.
Yeah. Something I want to jump onto with the guests thing specifically, with everybody being remote and working with people for the first time, the use of the stage was incredible because it gave an opportunity to very privately figure out barriers with your guests without having to pull them off or put them in a situation where they have to say no. So I could be like, hey, Mikey, do you have enough spoons for a story right now? Thumbs up, thumbs down. And you'd get these really quick check-ins with people all the time to be like, are you having fun? Where are we good? Are we happy? And we could keep saying yes on camera, but very privately, very discreetly say no off camera in a way that the audience wouldn't see. And I thought it made for a really natural way to start working with somebody for the first time and get really good chemistry going there. And I don't think that would have worked as well at an in-person event, or it would have been different. I imagine, everyone we brought in were amazing performers and it would have been great there, but that was so great. I found that was so helpful.
Beach said it at the very beginning. The one thing that I just couldn't believe during the entire run was, the other 18 hours of the day were tremendously weird. But when I was in the office in Studio B, sitting down doing Desert Bus, it just felt like Desert Bus, which kind of blew me away. Like I felt I knew going in it was going to be different and kind of weird, but like I was still going to be on a call with my friends, so we're going to make this work. But like the minute it started, it was just like, oh, this is just Desert Bus. Like I got this. This is great. I just couldn't believe that. Now, of course, when we were done, I hung up and I was in a room alone by myself and very sad. But those 6 hours before were great.
I've binged more TV shows between the hours of 12 a.m. and 3 a.m. this week than I think I've watched so far this year.
You have time for TV. You have brain space for TV.
I was too wired to like.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I was just too wired to go to bed when the shift ended, so I'd go crash on the couch and watch something to try and unwind.
Matt, you described my exact situation as well. But I would often watch Zeta.
Oh, wow, damn. I'm honored. Thank you. I need something to fall asleep to. Zeta, perfect.
Yeah.
Do you know what really honks? Knowing that you can't even start thinking about going to bed till midnight because there's a streaming setup in your bedroom. And that no matter what, you have to wake up at 7:30 in the morning to get your kid to school.
Kathleen, what really honks is the fact that I can honk and none of you can hear it.
Nope. Sure can't.
Are you even truly honking then, Ian?
Yeah. It's an interesting philosophical question.
If a bus honks in the stream and no one's able to hear it, did it really happen?
James, I've drank too much.
Dude, so have I. Beej, why aren't you on your way over here with that bottle of champagne?
Oh, well, tough. So...
Rude.
Until we all come off the stream, then we'll see what happens. But
all right.
What's funny to me is because like the reverse thing where it's like we would go home and it's 6:30 in the morning and I'm like, well, we got to eat something. And, we have DoorDash available. And so I'd be like, let's see what's open. McDonald's it is. Okay, so we have McDonald's. It's fine. And then we eat, and it's like 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning. It's like but I'm so tired. And it's like, okay, time to go to bed. And we go to bed. And then I wake up, and it's 6:30 p.m. because I like to sleep. And I wake up at 6:30, and I'm like, if I don't, we discovered this. If I don't order food, like dinner, in the next 45 minutes, I won't have dinner tonight at all. So now I have to decide, is my morning tummy ready to eat curry or sushi? Or let's see what happens. Roll the dice.
Spin that wheel.
It was a very different, it felt very different than how we've done catering in previous years. But it was a lot of fun. It was just very different. Like I think we all had our own little things that were like, wow, we have to get used to this new thing this week that is not what was expected. In the normal routines. Also, while we have a pause from everybody...
Sorry, I'm drinking more. My bad.
While we have a pause from everybody, I saw this interesting thing that came up, and Johnny might think this is more interesting, perhaps, but I saw a toot which is a Mastodon thing. But I saw a toot from Andy Bio that he was very excited because he had just recently received a grant because he runs XOXO along with the other Andy, if I remember this correctly.
Yeah, that's correct, with Andy McMillan.
He just received a grant to build an open source virtual event space. And I'm thinking, dude, we're doing that.
We just did that,
It's like in a week I'll be doing that, Andy. Maybe we should have a conversation.
We just jumped up $5,000.
Whoa! All right.
$4,007.
Anonymous 4007.
Wow.
4,005. I don't want to, anonymous friend. I appreciate you. I appreciate the money, but I need you to examine your life choices here.
Thank our anonymous donor, Serge.
Jeez.
Sorry, Paul, what were you going to say?
I was going to say the weird connection there is Andy Bio's the one who first leaked the Penn and Teller Smoke and Mirrors game.
Yeah.
On Waxy. That was where it first came from. And so weird
Beej
connection.
Beej just arranged to share our tech with him and then split the grant money and run.
Several of us are in the XO Slack. Beach will hook you up. We'll connect.
We'll split Johnny with him. And then keep half the grant money and run.
We already split Johnny with Anita earlier this year when he and I did another charity event back in the day.
So I'm gonna say goodnight. I'm very tired. Good night,
That's
Kat.
fair.
I'm going to go home. I'm going to try and sleep, and I'm going to try very hard to make it back into this room sometime around 5:30 in the morning to be here for the end